news about the Dallas Mavericks came out. The Dallas Mavericks' new head coach, Jason Kidd, came out. There's this new book about Giannis, about it's a biography on him. And in this book, there are some alarming Jason Kidd stories in it. Somebody tweeted this, and these were the stories. This is quote for quote, by the way. The Bucks were struggling, dropping a game to Charlotte on December 23rd, right before Christmas. Players returned to the locker room dejected, silent. Everyone was ready for the next 2 days off with their families. Zaza, Kidd said, turning to Pachulia but addressing the entire team. Do you think it was a winnable game? Kidd asked Zaza. Yes, it was a winnable game, Pachulia said. And do you think we deserve the next 2 days off, which means Christmas Eve and Christmas? And Pachulia basically said, listen, we made plans with our families. You know, we kind of do one off. And Kidd was like, all right, Dudley, what do you think? And Dudley answered basically the same way. And Jason Kidd didn't care. He said, see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. on Christmas Eve. And all the players are like, whoa, what's happening? What do you mean? And Kidd's like, we're going to have practice. And the players are like, but we booked flights to different states already. And Kidd said, I don't care. You guys get paid to do a job, so you're doing your job tomorrow. Things change. And the practice the very next morning, Christmas Eve, was terrible. He went to Larry Sanders and called him pathetic. He called him a terrible player. He called him a piece of shit. And the team ran the entire practice like a college team. And Brandon Knight said, I haven't done that ever in my career. It was the first time with Jason Kidd. And he said it wasn't normal. And after this practice, in the middle of it, Larry Sanders, after like 3 hours of practice, because that's how long it lasted, he kept picking on Larry Sanders. He called him pathetic. And Larry Sanders took his stuff and left the facility. And that was his last game with the Bucks, and that was his last time showing up for anything they did. He basically retired after that incident with Jason Kidd, and he said physically he couldn't take it. Mentally, he couldn't take it. He does say he doesn't think Jason Kidd is a bad person, but mentally he did mess him up because one day Jason Kidd would be all coddly, and the next day he would be this militant enforcer, and because of that, it didn't bode well for Larry Sanders. And then there was another incident about a film room with Giannis. They were playing Philly. Kidd said, look, Giannis, you made a mistake. Giannis said, no, I didn't. Kidd said, show me. Giannis proved him wrong on the film, and Jason Kidd still sat him in the entire second half of a game just to prove that he's boss. And some other some other players have described Kidd as a coaching style as psychological warfare.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, and basically, you know, they don't have very nice things to say. And there was this other story about Thon Maker and how, this is quote for quote, little things were made to be a big deal like 2 seasons later when center Thon Maker didn't have an iPhone, messing up the Blue Bubble iPhone group chat, and therefore once showed up late for practice because he had missed a text about a time change. Kidd was upset about it and made the team run because Kidd felt that Maker not getting an iPhone was an example of the team not being unified. So he picked on Maker because of his phone. And, I mean, you look at his track record as a coach. Didn't have much success in Milwaukee. Say what you want. You know, he's credited for developing Giannis, but this kind of discredits it because he messed up a lot of players too. Larry Sanders made him retire, basically. Thon Maker was a highly touted prospect. You saw how he treated him. He didn't develop him because he had a green bubble on his phone.
Why did he still have a Galaxy?
I don't know. And then on Brooklyn, he got DUI charges on Brooklyn as a head coach, driving under the influence. And in 2001, he pled guilty to beating his wife, basically. I mean, this guy doesn't have a very great past.
He's not going to talk to Luka like that.
And now he's the head coach for the Mavericks. Yeah. I worry about it because I think Kristaps Porzingis' personality isn't going to take this.
Luka not hearing that either. All that hoopla. My thing is, you know what my question is, honestly? What were the assistant coaches doing throughout this whole situation? Like, what was their vibe?
But my thing, to go off of that, if he's not that scared to talk about the players, I don't think he gives a fuck about what the assistant coaches got to say. Like,
he hires the assistants too.
That's it.
So they're probably on the same type of training he is, or at least they just
either that or they're scared to do something about it because that man.
And then, which goes to my point, why wasn't he fired earlier? What's
He's
like,
Jason Kidd.
like I guess his player, the name Jason Kidd as a player holds so much weight because it's like, and I'm sure Mark Cuban knew about all this before.
He should have.
Yeah, or now at least now he knows, which is gonna lead up to this season. Now I don't think he's gonna get fired, but this is definitely gonna be something that Mark Cuban's gonna definitely pay close attention to. But yeah, psychological warfare. I feel like that's something Greg Popovich does in a more nicer way, though. I think that's like a Greg Popovich thing, but clearly it's not what Jason Kidd. I think this is just bullying. Bullying players. Players with. I guess Larry Sanders had some type of depression, or he was just. He was kind of had a sad day. Jason Kidd seems very bipolar to me. Talking about one day he's calling, then the next day he's mean. But I think, honestly, you got to look at the people around Jason Kidd. His coaches, his assistant coaches, his family, the GMs at the time. Like, what were you thinking? And I'm sure you can't tell me grown men haven't talked to the GMs about this one time through the whole process. I'm sure they have. I'm sure they spoke to the assistants about this, and nobody did. He coached for what, like 3-4 seasons?
3 seasons, I believe.
Yeah, so it's like you knew this was going on for a long time. Players spoke on about it, and you guys kind of let it happen. So I think this is kind of a testament to kind of like, people take their job way too seriously, regardless if you're getting paid millions or not. These are still people's feelings. These are still grown men who still, you can't talk to people like that.
In defense of Jason Kidd a bit, Jared Dudley came out recently and said that he laid the groundwork for the Bucks championship.
I'm not surprised, yeah.
So Jared Dudley didn't bash him and say all this stuff, but I think it is alarming because
they do that for Brandon Jennings too. He laid the groundwork.
I don't think that the personalities on the Mavericks, and specifically Luka and KP, they're going to take that. And I don't think they really should. It might be less of a problem in Dallas because the Bucks had young players that Kidd had to groom and develop, and he failed a lot at that. In Dallas, most of these players are established. You can't really tell them nothing. I mean, Bullock, Finney-Smith, Brunson,
but these are some dogs.
Luka, Porzingis.
You're going to be able to talk to them any kind of way.
Maxi Kleba. Most of their players they know what they are. They know their roles. They have found their footing in the NBA. It might affect Josh Green or Tyrell Terry.
But even then, a situation where he was in the room with Giannis telling him he made a mistake, I don't think that's grooming a player. That's just you trying to show your assertiveness. He can do that to anybody. I feel like that's a Porzingis moment right there. Like telling Porzingis, yo, you did something wrong. And then Porzingis like, what? No, I did it. And then that can end up like that. And, that's Kidd.
Do you think Dallas is going to regret this hire?
Nah, because you know what? Here's my thing with it. Now that this has been made like public, I feel like now he kind of understands, like, I can't, like, let it slide. I'm not saying he's going to stop cold turkey. Like, he might let a few comments slip out, but, like, attacking one player over and over, I feel like this story coming out is going to, replay in his head, and it's going to, like he's going to be able to stop himself.
That, and they have Luka. So
it definitely, because, in Milwaukee, when Larry Sanders retired and he left.
He was really good too.
I mean, at the time when that happened, I was wondering what was wrong with him. Like, what happened that made him do that? Years later, we finally find out the truth. Like, we finally know what happened. Whereas if something goes on in Dallas, I think we're going to find out right away.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to take years to find this out. I think right away we're going to find this out.
Because that's the outlet already.
And Dallas,
Exactly.
Dallas is a bigger market than Milwaukee was at the time.
You know what else too is, I think Dallas made a mistake though by not hiring Jamal Mosley. I think he should have been their coach. Dallas vouched for him as well. But they're going from one extreme to the other. Rick Carlisle, he left Dallas because Luka had total control. And it was whatever Luka wants, you get. Rick Carlisle kind of stopped coaching and said, look, just Luka everything. Where Jason Kidd is coming in and has that militant coaching style and is more of, I don't care about that. It's going to be what I want now. So they're going from one extreme, let Luka do whatever he wants, to another one. And
this could
now we're going to
help
hold Luka in
Porzingis.
check.
This could help Porzingis in a way. If Jason wants Porzingis to get the ball more, it could put Porzingis in a good light, help him get more touches, and not be the spot-up shooter he was last year.
That makes sense. That makes some sense.
Yeah, it could.
Or he could piss Porzingis off.
100%.
Yeah, because Porzingis has a fragile personality, I think. So
I think New York did that to him.
I think he did that to himself. Yeah, because when he left New York, he said Knicks fans, The truth is gonna come out sooner or later. He left, and we were better without you.
Were you?
Yes, we definitely were better without Porzingis.
You guys have the same amount of playoff exits.
Well,
No, actually, you have same. You've both made the first
we
round.
didn't make the playoffs with Porzingis.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, but he made it with Dallas twice.
But
You guys
the
made
Knicks
it
are
once.
better without Porzingis. With Porzingis, we weren't this good.
Yes, that is fair.
We didn't have one playoff season with Porzingis.
What, you got one now?
Yeah. With the Randall, I told you Randall was better than Porzingis, man.
Porzingis got two of them things.
But yeah, I think, they might regret this hire. I think they probably are sooner rather than later.
I mean, we'll see, because it's gonna be in the media sooner rather. It's gonna be in the media quick, fast. We're gonna know in a hurry. Circulation have already been going on in that organization with Luka and the front office and guys getting fired. This, that, and the third. Donnie Nelson getting fired. That was Luka's guy. Luka wanted Mosley. He didn't get hired. Kid guy. So it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a lot of turmoil for Dallas this year.